my job description is changing. The part that they emphasize most is other duties as assigned. So it changes all the time. Some of it depending upon, you know, like with the Daktronics project that we brought in, that's a major part of my job now. That's not in my job description. It's just something that's kind of morphed in to that based on what we've been able to do and the opportunities we've had as an athletic department. So as far as promotions, is getting the word out on our events, making relationships with people, hopefully long-standing relationships that can be passed on, so it's not just something I set up. It's a program that I've set up to be successful in 15, 20 years that anybody could carry it on once I leave, if I do. Games are the most interesting because, as we talked about before with the contest, you can put all the planning you want to in the world, and once it gets out there, it's there and you're going with it. We call games organized chaos a lot of times because we have our script and we're going to go by it, but if something happens to deviate from the script, we just go with that and move on too. So games would be the most interesting and fun. I'm a big sports fan, and you don't have to be in this position, but it certainly helps. You know, it depends. For something like football, even for a 7 o'clock game, we're here at 8 o'clock in the morning, because when you look at the planning that has to go in with our Daktronics crew, with all the people that are involved there, with tailgating, with cheerleaders, having a band that has 400 people in it, that takes a lot more organization than having a band, and even the whole length of a football game. I mean, you're looking at 2.5 to 3 hours, as opposed to a basketball game is going to be a maximum of about 2. And people show up earlier for a football game, so you have to have more things going on. The sheer number of players on a football team, making sure they get on the field and off the field when they're supposed to, and things like that. So for a football game, it certainly is, and all that thing. For a basketball game, depending upon how much we've been able to get done on it beforehand, can be all day. But it takes a big chunk out of the day. You know, we don't schedule a whole lot of things for game days. You never know what's going to come up too. It's one of those things, I never want to become complacent, no matter what it is. Realistically, like we talked about before with my job responsibilities, wanting to be the best. If it gets to a point where I feel like I've taken the responsibilities I have here to the best they can be, then yes, I'd want to move on, because then when we talk about the challenge of the marketing and stuff like that, if it's not challenging, I don't want to do it. Right now, it's still very challenging, and that's good, and I honestly wake up every day excited to face those challenges. So do I see myself moving on? Probably, but as far, I also enjoy being outdoors, and with cold weather and things like that, I'd love to move further south, but who knows?